Hello, everybody,
Hi.
and welcome. Hello. My name is Patricia Perez, and I serve as AARP California State President. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and happy Latino Heritage Month. Today, we're here with special guests, Ernesto and Alberto Villalobos from the Villalobos Brothers. And just so you know, the Villalobos Brothers are one of today's leading contemporary Mexican ensembles. Their compositions and arrangements masterfully fuse and celebrate the richness of Mexican folk music with the intricate harmonies of jazz and classical music. Think modern jarocho. But since you're already on Facebook, please, I encourage you all to share this stream now on your own page so that your friends and families may also participate in today's conversation. Also, if you have questions, make sure you write them in the comments. Again, for those of you who are just joining us, my name is Patricia Perez, and I serve as AARP California State President. AARP California is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that works on behalf of our 38 million members across the nation and 3.3 million members here in California to enhance the quality of life for all people as we age, which includes offering unique and engaging events like today's interview and the San Jose Jazz's Live from Home. Today, we're here with our special guests, Ernesto and Alberto Villalobos from the Villalobos Brothers, to talk about their journey into the music world and how you can catch their next performance. Ernesto and Alberto, hello, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Patricia.
Thank you for having us, Patricia.
Hi, everybody watching at home. Hello.
Hello. Why don't you guys start from the beginning? Tell us, how did it all start? How did you get into the music world?
Of course. And, every good story starts with grandma. So in our case, it's also true. We come from a part of Mexico, a region of Mexico called Veracruz. And our childhood was in a farm. We were actually homeschooled, and we were taught all these beautiful acoustic instruments by none other than our grandma first, and then a very, very dedicated teacher who taught us everything we know about the violin for over 12 years in my case, in my brother's case as well. So it all starts in Veracruz in a farm where we practiced for many, many hours. Our parents are not musicians, but our grandma was really our musical instrument. So they say that it skips a generation. And in our case, it's also true.
I think it's also important to mention the homeschool part.
Yes, absolutely.
My mom is an educator by nature, and she, I think she was a crucial role. She played a crucial role bringing all this time for us to practice and to just explore and have fun, and not having the schedule for attending a school was definitely a big part into turning us into professional musicians, because we have all this time to just play. And I think nowadays, sometimes I feel like school tends to...
It's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, how to find that balance. But that was our upbringing. There's a third brother who is right now watching us from Valencia, Spain. Hi, Luis. He's our youngest brother.
Hello, Luis.
Yes. So it's the that's the signature of the group, the three violins. We have three violins, and then we have a backing band. Tonight, obviously, for reasons of the quarantine and everything else, our band is going to be shrunk. It's just going to be the three of us performing for you today, the two of us, and our dear friend Bam Rodriguez playing upright bass. So we have a little trio, a little acoustic trio. But normally it would be six of us on a stage, the three brothers fronting the band with the violins and singing, and then behind us a full rhythm section with drums, bass, and guitar. Also in California, probably joining us into the broadcast is our dear friend Humberto Flores, who plays guitar, who has played guitar with us for many years. He actually lives in Los Angeles now.
Isn't technology wonderful? I mean, it doesn't matter where you are, you can now, connect and engage and perform. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
We are kind of loving it and hating it at the
Yes,
same time.
it's a love. It's a love-hate relationship for sure.
I know. I'm sure you're missing the fans, right? The warmth of the fans.
It's a different feeling. It definitely gets close to that live feeling when we perform because we are, but you are so used to perform in front of live audiences, and for us, this is definitely a challenge for everybody, I guess, in a different way. But definitely
yeah.
for live musicians, for performers, this is it's been a new time, a new adjustment, definitely. For
I know. And, you know, and I sense, of course, you know, you were sharing your history about your closeness and learning together and playing together. And of course, the impact that, you know, an influence your grandmother had on you. How important was your Latino culture? How has that influenced your music?
It's been major. I mean, we cannot really separate our background from what we do. I think we are all a collection of our previous experiences. And growing up, pretty much, I feel like we were little sponges, you know, absorbing what was around us. In our case, was a lot of music,
A lot of son.
a lot of. Also, from our upbringing, we were trained in classical music, so we were listening to a combination of classical music records. With my dad used to love the Beatles and, you know, tradition, like all these rock bands, and my mom used to like listen to a lot of classical music, and of course my grandma used to love folk music, son huasteco, son jarocho, and so we would learn and play and jam with her just because that's what she loved to do. And we grew up with that combination of music around us, and now for us it's almost impossible to separate all these influences.
And we find ourselves trying to recreate the kind of community-based music making that happens so naturally in places like Veracruz. For most of you watching us at home, a fandango is an app that you use to buy movie tickets, right? But for us, the word has a special significance. Fandango means a circle of musicians performing son jarocho, which is a very traditional type of music from Veracruz, late into the night, and sometimes into the wee hours of the morning, right? Until the sun starts coming up, and sometimes for many nights in a row. So maybe 3 or 4 nights of fandango happening every year around El Día de la Candelaria in a little town called Tlacotalpan, which, by the way, was declared heritage site.
Right. UNESCO, right? An UNESCO heritage site.
And in general, fandangos are associated with harvest and harvest cycles, religious festivities, even birthdays sometimes develop into a huge fandango. The whole town participates. It's not only a certain time of the year. It really depends on different communities, different dates. But it's a connection with the earth, with the people, with the families, and it's a really beautiful thing to witness, because you really become part of that community once you play and dance in a fandango. And everybody's welcome. That's a beautiful thing. You're welcome into fandango. You have an instrument, you don't know how to play. You don't have an instrument, you don't know how to dance. You're still welcome to join. You can help in the preparation. There's a lot of preparation going on.
And that's the beautiful thing. I'm reading a question here from Shay. It says, somebody is asking, what advice do you have for musical artists just starting to get their music career going? And I think this is actually what I was talking about, which is join a fandango, join a community of people that play music,
or create your own
fandango, that make music just for music's sake, for community's sake. It's not a performance. At first, it cannot be a performance. It needs to come from the community, from the enjoyment that it gives you to strum a jarana or a guitar, or in our case, a violin or an accordion. And really discover the power of music from behind, without wanting to have a performance right away, because really that's the most powerful, I think.
Also, in a way, I believe that was the most natural way it all started. You know, there was no spotlight, there was not a stage. it was just sharing, and that's how we learned really like our folk tradition with grandma. We were not aiming to perform in front of people. We were just sharing, and she would say, "Oh, like let's play this song that I remember that my dad used to sing," and we would play it and we would learn it. And eventually, it became that we started playing, and we were doing little concerts at the end of the semester of the school year. And my grandma and my grandpa would come, and my mom was so dedicated with our musical formation, and they would sit throughout the entire performance and they would clap. She was most excited to get home and play with her and sing.
Very, very supportive.
Yeah. So the journey continues. You know, when I was 17, I auditioned for a Fulbright and came to New York, and then invited my brothers. We had many big concerts for Carnegie Hall, for the United Nations, for the Latin Grammys. But then we decided, you know what? The best way to launch our band and our brand really is to do everything that we did before, you know? So we started creating house parties in the Bronx. We used to live up in the Bronx, and we started doing it, you know, in a very open format, trying to recreate again the community-based aspect of music making, you know? And
the closeness.
We started inviting everyone, inviting friends.
Yes.
And hey, guys, you want to come to our place? And we're gonna have a backyard concert. Bring your friends, invite whoever you want. And that's how everything started for us here in the States. You know,
Absolutely.
Your fandango.
You're right. We were recreating the fandango.
We were trying, you know. We had an empty lot next to our house, and so Beto got to work.
Yeah,
he built a stage, you know, like homemade with 2x4s and whatnot. You know,
it wasn't very sturdy, but at some point we had many people.
Yes, jumping up and down, and you know,
I remember I painted a mural. It was really like it was a work of love, because we were basically inviting people to our house, and everything throughout the night would be perfect, and the music, the sharing. The day after, it was a lot of cleaning up to do.
Yeah. You know, at the peak of the summer, we even started calling it the summer concert series, even though it was really house parties that we were just using to play music and to get to know our musical friends and our musical neighbors.
I remember the neighbors in the street. They already knew. Some of them would love it, and they would come every month or every 2 weeks. Some of them it was new for them, and they were like, "We're not here. Like, there's people here." And you know, like it was that element of like sometimes we would have the fire department show up.
Too many people.
Yeah. We had hundreds of people, like 350 people showed up. We counted, you know, to the house party. They were big.
You know, you're talking about the power of music, and on your website you say that music is the greatest medicine, and we certainly know about that. Of course, in June, AARP Global Council on Brain Health released a report on the connection between music and brain health, and it recommends that people listen, play, sing, and move to music, because the activities not only, you know, are great physical exercise, but they can also relieve stress, build social connections, and are fun ways to stimulate your brain. And you guys were just, you know, saying how natural it came for you when you were doing this. But I know that you come from a history of engaging directly with people.
Yes.
Given the pandemic, how has it been being a musician and performing virtually?
Well, it's been challenging. I think it's been challenging for all of us. However, I must say something. Our music travels, right? And what a gift to be able to share our music with those who may need it the most. In any place, wherever you may be right now, if you're tuning in, you click on that link, and all of a sudden we have this magic box that connects us as performers with you as our audience member, somebody who maybe we met at the last San Jose Gala where we were actually performing. We were playing for the after party, and we made many friends in San Jose. But also, you know, it's a great way of expressing love. It's a great way of expressing connection, and it's a great way of staying in touch with your favorite artist. So if you're looking at this performance from home, please know that we are remembering you. Please know that we wish we could be there in person
I know.
in San Jose with all of you. And thank you so much for following us, for staying on top of what we're doing, for wanting to share this evening with us, this evening of music. And of course, it's the most powerful music. It's magic, really, if you think about it. Music is something magical that travels somehow and reaches our ears and changes our mood, affects our health, and really has this incredible power, if you allow it, of course, to heal you and to make you feel much better about any situation that you may be going through, and to express, some emotions that sometimes you cannot with words. Words sometimes fall so short, and the only way to say things is through music.
The music.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have a question from a viewer. He wants to know, Ernesto and Alberto, do you play any other instrument other than the violin?
Well, that's a great question, since you touched on that subject about how music can keep your brain engaged and always awake. I feel that every time I grab a different instrument, how like different parts of my brain are like, doing this.
Yes.
Sometimes you can feel really like a beginner when you grab a different instrument and you realize the power of music to reset you and to be humble in a way, to learn from scratch a new instrument, a new style. We do play different instruments. Ernesto is going to be playing the accordion in a few minutes. I'll be playing this, which is a jarana. It's a beautiful jarana tercera, a traditional folk instrument from Veracruz. I'll be playing two other different guitars, also from Veracruz. One is called the jarana quinta guapanguera. It's a little bigger instrument with a bigger box. And I'll be also playing a vihuela, which is also, they're all three different types of guitars, different tunings. So even though they look kind of the same, they're all different, and there's different way of strumming every guitar. I know Luis, our youngest brother, is also a guitar player. He loves playing the guitar, and basically he's a self-taught guitar player. I know, we get help from friends here and there, but every instrument has so many intricacies and little things that really make it sound beautiful, that it's such a joy to learn and to in a way, I feel like you almost become like a better musician the more instruments you play, just because the more you learn about something, the more you admire it, and you're like, oh wow, there's something that I cannot do that I wish I could, and then you develop this sense of humility too, like, oh wow, there's so much to learn. Really, there's always something else to learn.
And speaking of instruments, you mentioned you have an educator parent, you had your inspiration from your grandmother. We have a viewer who wants to know any suggestions to get your kid to practice his instrument more.
That's a great question.
Of course.
I have my own advice. Wait, why don't you go ahead?
For sure. Well, at the beginning, it's important to not force a child really to overdo it. Perhaps discipline is very important, as we all know. But it counts. It counts in unexpected ways. Let's say if you practice for 15 minutes every day, you're gonna get better results than if you try to practice for an hour once a week, right? So it's about consistency. Violin in particular and piano, I believe, are very, very challenging at the beginning. So maybe switch it up. Maybe get a ukulele, get something a little more instant.
Kid friendly.
Yes, where the result is more instantaneous.
Yeah.
The point is, keep that connection, keep that musical connection with the child active. If the instrument is too challenging, switch it up. Go to your voice. Remind him or her that our voices are really our main instrument that we're all born with, and try to create that. We're all speaking the same language. It's the same music. Do re mi fa sol la si do. Whether we are singing, whether we are performing, it's all the same language. So that's the main thing. To keep that connection with the child.
No,
Do you
because
agree?
basically I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, do not force it. It needs to come from the child, even though at some point it will become evident when the level starts. The pieces start becoming a little more challenging. Then you need to practice a little bit every day.
Mhm.
But it should be something. It can achieve the opposite effect if you kind of impose it in somebody.
Right.
And not everybody is meant to be a musician. Not everybody loves to play music. It's totally fine. Some people like to listen to music, and I believe we are all musicians at heart. We all can sing, but we're not all equally attracted to playing an instrument, right?
Yeah.
As much
And
as we would like to everybody play the violin, not everybody will like necessarily to the same instrument or the same.
Right. We may not be able to play the instrument, but we certainly can dance. We certainly can do other things, ways to enjoy music.
Exactly.
We have one additional question. Are there specific Mexican musicians who have influenced you?
Oof, yeah, so many.
Well, where do you start?
Musicians, I guess that would refer also to performers, right?
And
Performers,
composers.
composers. I admire a lot of folk musicians that wouldn't probably even appear on Google or Wikipedia, but I learned a lot from Elfego Villegas, who is a traditional folk musician who passed away.
He recently passed away.
From all my teachers in Mexico, Maestro Carlos Marrufo is our violin mentor. And obviously there's great composers like classical composers.
I have two recommendations for you. The first one is Agustin Lara. If you don't know Agustin Lara, he is the biggest, one of the biggest bolero composers from our home state.
Romance.
Yes, they call him El Flaco de Oro. He was a pianist. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Also, another composer very dear to us is Armengol, Mario Ruiz Armengol. He passed away some 20 years ago. Also, really, really beautiful stuff.
And if you like folk violin, El Viejo El Pidio.
Oof, yes, El Viejo.
And there is another violin player that they call him El Paganini.
De la Huasteca.
De Tierra Caliente.
De Tierra Caliente. Sí.
Yeah, there's a documentary about him. If you Google El Paganini de Tierra Caliente, there's like so many talented musicians in Mexico.
Yes.
Some of the mariachi ensembles in Mexico, they're amazing. Like you listen to all these traditional groups, and you're like, wow, these are.
And you know what? For further inspiration, please check out the documentary Fandango at the Wall. Fandango at the Wall, which was filmed at the border between San Diego and Tijuana. And what we did is we recreated a fandango right at the border, right where that wall is. So half of the circle of musicians that we were talking about was on the San Diego side, including myself, and half were on the Tijuana side, including my two brothers. So please check it out. It's on HBO Max, and you can check it out. It's a beautiful documentary produced by Kabir Segal, and it features the Grammy winner Arturo Farrell and the Afro-Latin Jazz Orchestra. And it was produced by Carlos Santana, Andrew Young, Quincy Jones, big names. Please check it out. And it features the masters of Son Jarocho from Veracruz, Mexico.
And every year this happens around March, I believe.
Yes.
Jorge Castillo is
our friend Jorge Castillo is the creator of this
organizer. And he holds this fandango at the wall, protesting the wall.
Yeah.
Obviously aiming to bring down barriers through music, which I think is beautiful.
To foster understanding, and again, the music travels.
And there's also an album. So if you guys would like to listen to what would this sound like,
and our music as well.
And guys, sorry to interrupt you, but I want to let people know before we run out of time that they can watch you. They can watch the Villalobos brothers tomorrow virtually as part of the San Jose Jazz Live from Home concert series. And we encourage everyone to join. And just so they know that San Jose Jazz is a public benefit corporation that celebrates jazz music through events, education, and more. And they are hosting live stream musical performances the first and third Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Pacific. And AARP, of course, is a proud sponsor of this free series. And we invite you to learn more at sanjosejazz.org. And the Villalobos brothers will be performing tomorrow, Thursday, October 15 at 7 p.m. Pacific, with a live stream playing on San Jose Jazz's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And I wanted to get that in because I know everybody's really excited, just hearing you. So again, you can learn more about the series and the Villalobos brothers performance tomorrow by visiting sanjosejazz.org. Ernesto and Alberto, any surprises tomorrow?
Well, Patricia, thank you so much for the invitation. I personally want to thank every member of AARP who is watching us right now. And thank you for sponsoring our performance and for making this happen. We have a live, right before our live performance, Movimiento de Arte y Cultura Latinoamericana, MACLA, will host their 22nd Latinx Art Now auction and exhibition. And they are celebrating the diversity of Latinx arts and culture. MACLA knows the importance of supporting artists. And so this year, due to the economic impact of COVID-19, artists featured in the auction can retain 50% of the sales proceeds. To stream the auction live, you can visit MACLA's YouTube page. And tomorrow, October 15th, please tune into MACLA's event at 5 p.m. and then join us for a live performance on San Jose Jazz, live from home, the platform, 7 p.m. Please join this auction and support artists who are obviously right now hurting because of the pandemic. So it's a great way to help them and to help the artists directly with that 50%.
Absolutely. Please support the arts. And unfortunately, we've come to the end of the program, and I want to give a heartfelt thank you to the two of you. I know I'm excited now to watch some of Villalobos, perform tomorrow, and I know everyone is. But for anyone who joined us late, we had the wonderful opportunity of speaking with musicians Ernesto and Alberto Villalobos, who will be performing as the Villalobos brothers tomorrow as part of the San Jose Jazz's Live from Home concert series. You can learn more about the series and the Villalobos brothers performance at sanjosejazz.org. Again, Ernesto and Alberto, gracias. Thank you so much for joining us.
Patricia, gracias.
It has been wonderful talking to you and learning about your incredible journey and your history. Loved it. And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us for Facebook Live Webinar Wednesday Conversation. Gracias a todos.
See you guys.